give you a visual rather than just me talking to the camera. I'm stretching watching Big Mouth because season 4 was released, and I know sometimes people make fun of people for liking that show, but I just find it really funny. Okay, leave me alone. So if you see me like laugh or something at that point in the video, it's me laughing at Big Mouth. Today was such an odd day. I just felt so very, very tired. Like right from when I got up at 8 a.m. to about now, still at like 10 o'clock at night. But one thing I was thinking about, so as I was stretching, you might see through the video, I'm not doing too many stretches. I'm not doing too much. Well, at the end of August, I had developed back pain. It was so bad. Like, it hurt so much to get out of bed in the morning and to get up off the couch and stuff like that. Like, it felt so locked up and seized up. And while I know it's like what comes first, the chicken or the egg, you know? Does not stretching as much make your back stiff, or does having a stiff back make it more difficult and more painful for you to stretch, so you can't really, you know? And so I wound up going to some physiotherapy, and I'm feeling better now, but I have to go back. But this is just, I think about that whenever I think about, this is a personal ramble. I think about how it's not that I feel like I can't do this, I can't do that. I really would like to do it, and I would like to get there. Like, there are some people who do such amazing, even though, like, it's amazing to see how flexible some people can be, but I find that I appreciate more how strong some people are. I know in my years of on and off experience with yoga, with almost different bodies, sometimes it feels like, looking back on it, it takes so much strength to do some of the things people do, and the smoothness, the flow of moving through emotion. I try not to think of it as I can't do that. I can't do it at the moment, or I'm working towards it, but it also is, it's humbling still to see where you are currently with your movement. And I'm like very transparent about it. I am on medication for depression. I have been for over a year. It's like the lack of motivation to move your body, you know? And it's like, I know I need to do this. I know I should do XYZ because it's good for you. And I know I have the time to do it. And like, technically I could do it, but just not wanting to. It's not even like you don't want to. It's that you do not have the desire to. It's not that you very much are against it. I'm not explaining it very well, but it's hard to describe some of these things in a way for somebody to understand it and not write it off as, oh, you're just not athletic. Oh, you're just lazy. I hate that word. I think that's one thing I've especially noticed the most with being home for quarantine, is the way of trying to deal with my symptoms. As I have learned that people, even if they're on antidepressants, they can still experience the cognitive effects of depression. You know, your mood might be more manageable, or your motivation might be more manageable, but you can still be experiencing the cognitive effects. And I wish that someone had told me that. And that's the other frustrating thing, is that I'm diagnosed with depression. It's very straightforward. I've been on medication for an extended period of time now, and I'm still having to learn these things. Why wouldn't my doctor at the university clinic, who should understand some things that are important to students, are things like concentration and memory, why wouldn't they tell me that being on antidepressants does not resolve those issues? As for how some of the things I've experienced, I have trouble with memory. I have such a bad time with memory, and I'm grateful for the friends who are okay with me not remembering their birthdays, because it's not that I don't care. It's that I'll write it down sometimes if I can get that far, but it's that it just is in one ear and out the other. I cannot commit it to memory. And other little things, like I'll forget getting something out of the fridge, there's things too about like having a word on the tip of your tongue. That happens to me all the time. It's like it's this weird feeling of trying to work through almost a memory problem with a condition that nobody ever talks about, the memory problems and how they persist even after medication, you know? And like, having trouble with memory is not necessarily something that can be cured with like psychotherapy either. Like, it's it's just where your brain is at. But it's kind of just personal reflections on, like, you know, taking stock of how you're doing inside and out. Another thing I didn't understand was about how, so I have really vivid dreams. I have exceptionally vivid dreams, and I have like had them for a long time. I typically have about 2 dreams a night. Before I went on antidepressants, I already had these vivid dreams, and then I went on antidepressants and they got even more, they got like freakier and more realistic. Just for me to learn afterwards that it, like, antidepressants can spike up your dreams like that. And again, it was this feeling of, why wasn't I informed about this? Because no, I don't really have a choice, and I will keep taking it even in the face of having dreams like that. But it felt like I was having to grab everyone by the collars and shake them aggressively in order to get any information about how to help myself and how to make it through school. It's also like having to constantly battle with your own personal symptoms of like having bad memory or having this problem of constantly procrastinating, putting off stuff. And it's just so exhausting. It's just so exhausting. I feel like I'm always playing catch up. Like I'm going to be taking a year off between schooling because I want to go on to grad school. But I'm taking a year off because I need the time to work. And I also wasn't, like, there's no way that I could do grad school applications right now. I barely have enough energy to get through the things that I'm doing now. I have only just now had the energy to even start thinking about grad school. And that was another weird thing, was to be able to observe people being able to plan for their futures. It was that, like, to deal with the now took so much energy. I couldn't possibly also be thinking about the future at the same time. It's still work for me to process the feeling of I am not at that stage yet because of things I couldn't control. And as someone who has had to be so responsible at so many different times in my life and has had to make the call so many different times in my life, hard to not be upset about that. This is me venting. I am hoping to have more energy tomorrow. I also realized that I didn't say yesterday, but I spent about $40 yesterday, which, you know, not very great considering it was literally only the 3rd of December. Hope you're all well. I hope you take care, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye.